You were always there, consistent, predictable, safe. You were the notification that lit up her screen at 8 o'clock a.m., the validation she drank like water, the safety net that caught her every emotional stumble. You were the architecture of her ego, the foundation of her confidence. Then you pulled the plug. Absolute, cold silence. She checks her phone. The screen is black. The dopamine hit she expected is gone. It starts as confusion, a small glitch in her reality. She assumes you are busy. She assumes you are working. She assumes you will be back. But the hours bleed into days and the silence begins to scream. It is not peaceful. It is deafening. It creates a vacuum in her mind where only one question can exist. Where is he? You see, attention is currency. For years you printed it for free. You inflated the market. You made yourself worthless by becoming limitless. But the moment you cut her off, you became the most expensive asset in her portfolio. Scarcity creates value. Absence creates obsession. She does not miss you yet. Not really. She misses the mirror you provided. She misses the reflection of herself that she saw in your eyes. But that mirror is shattered. And now, for the first time in a long time, she has to look at the blank wall of her own existence without your validation to paint over the cracks. The regret triggers not because she loves you. It triggers because you dared to walk away. You dared to starve the beast. You dared to put your dignity above her dopamine. And that is unforgivable. That is magnetic. That is power. Let's look at the battlefield. Let us look at the device in her hand. It is not a phone. It is a dopamine drip. It is a validation factory that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From the moment she opens her eyes, she is bombarded. Likes, comments, DMs, emojis. A relentless, unending stream of digital applause. She lives in a world of abundance. She is drowning in a sea of thirsty men. And where were you? You were right there in the pile. You were swimming in the same ocean of desperation as every other man. You thought your good morning text was special. You thought your instant replies showed loyalty. You thought your constant availability was a sign of love. It wasn't. It was a sign of low value. It was a signal of emptiness. It was a billboard that screamed, "I have nothing better to do." You need to understand the economics of desire. It is a ruthless market. Supply and demand govern every interaction, every glance, every text message. When the supply of your attention is infinite, the value of that attention drops to zero. Zero. You made yourself a utility, like tap water, like electricity, essential perhaps, but completely taken for granted. No one thanks the light switch for turning on. They only notice it when it breaks. They only curse it when it stops working. You became the light switch, predictable, functional, boring. This is the rot of the nice guy. It is a sickness in the chest. It is the anxiety that gnaws at your stomach when she takes 3 hours to reply. It is the pathetic urge to double text to clarify, to apologize for things you didn't do. You traded your dignity for a crumb of acknowledgement. You sold your sovereignty for a smile, and she felt it. Women have a sixth sense for desperation. It has a smell, a pungent metallic scent of fear. When you over-pursue, when you flood her with unearned attention, you trigger a biological alarm in her brain. You are signaling that you are below her. You are signaling that she is the prize and you are the lucky winner. Evolution does not reward the beggar. Evolution despises the weak. She cannot respect a man who does not respect his own time. If you are always available to her, it means you are not available to your mission. It means you are not building an empire. It means you are not conquering a mountain. It means you are just sitting there waiting for a notification, waiting for permission to exist. This creates a dynamic of disgust. She might not say it. She might not even realize it consciously. But deep down in the lizard brain that drives attraction, she is repulsed. She looks at her phone and sees a list of men who would do anything for her. You are just a name on a list. You are a digital orbiter, a satellite circling a planet that doesn't care if you burn up in the atmosphere. She is a validation junkie. This is not an insult, it's a diagnosis. Her ego is a balloon that has a slow leak. It needs constant air to stay inflated. That air is male attention. She sips it from Instagram, she chugs it from Tinder. She breathes it in from the text messages of men like you. But here is the dark truth about junkies: they do not love the dealer. They only love the fix. As long as you kept supplying the drug, she kept you around. She kept you in the maybe pile. She breadcrumbed you just enough to keep the supply line open. But she didn't respect you. A junkie never respects the person who hands them the needle for free. You thought you were building a relationship. You were just servicing an addiction. You were feeding a bottomless pit. You poured your energy, your focus, and your time into a black hole. And what did you get in return? Confusion. Mixed signals. The "I'm not ready for a relationship right now" speech. The reality is brutal because it strips away your illusions. You were not the hero of this story. You were the resource. You were the battery she drained to power her self-esteem. And the moment you cut her off, the moment you sever the connection, you stop the flow, you pull the needle out, you force her to go cold turkey. For the first time, the balloon starts to deflate. The noise stops. The validation factory shuts down one of its main production lines. And suddenly the water you provided, that boring, predictable tap water, is gone. And she is thirsty. She realizes that the other men, the randoms in her DMs, they don't provide the same quality of attention you did. They are crude. They are aggressive. They are not you. But it's too late. The light switch is broken. The utility is off. Now she has to sit in the dark. We need to cut open the machinery. We need to look at the wiring under the dashboard. This is not about feelings or romance or the Disney lies you were fed as a child, and this is about cold, hard cognitive architecture. Why does she regret it? Why does the woman who treated you like an option suddenly spiral when you become a ghost? It starts with the Zeigarnik Effect. The human brain is an obsessive machine that hates unfinished tasks. It creates tension. It creates anxiety. It creates a cognitive itch that cannot be scratched until the loop is closed. When you were chasing her, the story was simple. You pursued, she retreated. You texted, she replied late. The narrative was linear. It was boring. It was finished. But when you cut her off, you create a massive, gaping, open loop. You walked out of the movie theatre in the middle of the climax. You cut the song off right before the bass drop. You ripped the last 10 pages out of the book. Her brain cannot file you away. It cannot archive you. It is forced to keep you in the active processing RAM of her mind because the story didn't end. It just stopped. She wonders why. She wonders how. She wonders who. Who is he with? Who is occupying his time? Who is getting the attention that used to be mine? This triggers the amygdala, the fear center. For millions of years, social exclusion meant death. Being ignored meant you were out of the tribe. Being cut off meant you starved. When you go silent, you trigger a primal reptilian fear of abandonment that bypasses her logic entirely. She might be a modern CEO, an influencer, or a strong independent woman, but her biology is still hunting and gathering on the savannah. Silence signals danger. Silence signals rejection. Silence signals a drop in status. This leads us to the most powerful force in behavioral economics. Loss aversion. Psychologically, the pain of losing something is twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something. Winning $100 feels good. Losing $100 ruins your whole day. When you were orbiting her, you were an asset she already owned. In her mind, you were money in the bank. You were a backup plan. You were safety. She didn't have to work for you, so she didn't value you, but she possessed you. Cutting her off triggers the endowment effect. Suddenly the asset is gone. The bank account is frozen. The safety net has been slashed. Her brain panics. It doesn't matter if she didn't want you yesterday. The fact that she cannot have you today makes you infinitely more valuable. We only want what is just out of reach. We only crave what has been taken away. Regret is not about love. Regret is about loss. She is not mourning the loss of a soulmate. She is mourning the loss of a guaranteed resource. She feels the phantom limb of your validation. She reaches for it and grabs nothing but air. And then the ego takes the hit. This is the ugliest part. This is the truth she will never admit to her friends, her therapist, or herself. Women are hypergamous. They are hardwired to seek the highest status, mate they can access. They want the man who is above them, the man who is a challenge, the man who is the prize. When you were chasing her, you signaled that you were below her. You signaled that she was the prize. You validated her belief that she could do better. But by walking away, by cutting the cord without a word, you flip the script. You shatter the frame. You invert the hierarchy. A man who can walk away is a man with options. A man who can walk away is a man of abundance. A man who can walk away is by definition high value. Her ego crashes. She starts to question her own market value. If he left me, does that mean I'm not good enough? If he walked away, did he find someone better? Is my ranking lower than I thought? This is comparative anxiety. She starts comparing herself to the imaginary woman she assumes you are with. This woman is prettier. She is smarter. She is less demanding. This imaginary woman is haunting her. You have become a mirror that reflects her insecurities. When you were chasing, you reflected her greatness. Now you reflect her failure. This forces her to rewrite history. This is the rose-tinted retcon. The human memory is reconstructive, it is flawed. When we are in a state of loss, we edit the past to fit the current emotion. Suddenly your annoying texts become thoughtful check-ins. Your over-availability becomes dependability. Your desperation becomes devotion. She forgets the ick. She forgets the boredom. She forgets how she rolled her eyes at your name. All she remembers is how good it felt to be worshipped. All she remembers is the warmth of the spotlight you shined on her. She begins to romanticize the very behavior she once despised. She convinces herself that she made a mistake. She convinces herself that she missed a good one. She didn't miss a good one. She missed the fan club, but the result is the same. The regret sets in. It is heavy. It is viscous. It is a poison that spreads slowly through her system. She checks your social media. She watches your stories from a burner account. She asks mutual friends about you trying to sound casual but failing. She is looking for a crack in your armor. She is looking for a sign that you are miserable without her. She needs to know that you are suffering, because if you aren't suffering, then she is the loser. If you are happy, she is defeated. If you are thriving, she is irrelevant. This is the final nail in the coffin of her peace of mind, the curiosity gap. By saying nothing, you become a riddle she has to solve. You become a mystery novel with the last chapter glued shut. Women fall in love with what they cannot understand. They fall in love with the man whose mind is a labyrinth they cannot map. You were an open book, a pamphlet, a flyer left on a windshield. Now you are a cryptogram. She will spend hours analyzing your silence. She will spend days dissecting your absence. She will invest more mental energy into you in 1 week of silence than she did in 6 months of dating. An investment breeds attachment. The more she thinks about you, the more she builds neural pathways that lead back to you. The more she obsesses, the deeper the grooves are cut into her brain. You are no longer a person. You're a virus in her operating system. You're a ghost in the machine. And the only way she thinks she can exorcise that ghost is to reach out. This is where most men fail. This is where the strategy collapses. You understand the trap. You understand the psychology. You know why she regrets losing you. But knowledge without execution is just trivia. It is useless. It is weak. Most men use no contact as a manipulation tactic. They use it as a trick. They cut her off, they go silent, but every 5 minutes they are checking their phone. They are staring at the screen. They are praying for the notification. They are faking indifference. And you cannot fake the frequency of a man who truly does not care. If you cut her off hoping she will come back, you are still chasing. You are just chasing in reverse. You are still a slave to the outcome. You are still tethered to her validation. The high-value pivot is not a tactic. It is a transformation. It is not about acting like you don't need her. It is about building a life so rich, so demanding, and so fulfilling that you genuinely do not have the time to notice her absence. It is the difference between ghosting and ascending. Ghosting is weak. Ghosting is running away because you are afraid of confrontation. Ghosting is a child hiding under the bed. Ascending is different. Ascending is climbing a mountain. You invited her to climb with you. She said no. She complained about the cold and she hesitated. So you kept climbing. You didn't run away from her. You rose above her. The air gets thinner. The path gets steeper. And eventually you're so high up that you can no longer hear her voice. You can no longer see her waving. You're focused on the summit. This requires a total transmutation of energy. Think about the hours you wasted, the mental RAM you burned analyzing her texts, the emotional calories you spent worrying if she liked you. That is energy. That is raw masculine power that was siphoned off into a dead-end investment. You must reclaim that energy. You must take the anxiety, the frustration, the rot in your chest, and you must feed it into the furnace of your ambition. This is the law of equivalent exchange. Every minute you used to spend texting her is now a minute spent lifting heavy iron. Every dollar you used to spend on dates she didn't appreciate is now a dollar invested in the S&P 500. Every ounce of focus you wasted on her problems is now focus directed at your mission. You build the fortress of indifference brick by brick. Brick 1, the body. Pain is the best pre-workout. Use the rejection. Let it burn in your veins. Build a physique that commands respect when you walk into a room. When you look in the mirror and see a savage staring back, you stop needing a woman to tell you you're attractive. The iron doesn't lie. The iron doesn't play games. The iron is loyal. Brick 2. The bank. Money is freedom, money is options. When you are broke, you tolerate disrespect because you feel lucky to have any option. When you are stacking cash, when your resources are overflowing, you develop an abundance mindset naturally. You realize there are millions of women, but there is only one of you. Secure this bag, starve the distraction. Brick 3 the mind. Read, learn, gill up. Become dangerous. A man who can articulate his thoughts, a man who understands the world, a man who is competent. This is a man who does not pine over a girl who ghosts him. He's too busy conquering his domain. As you build this fortress, a shift happens. The silence you imposed on her stops being a strategy. It becomes your standard. You actually forget to check your phone. You actually forget to wonder what she is doing. You enter the flow state of the sovereign man, and then inevitably it happens. The zombie text. It will come. It might take 2 weeks, it might take 6 months, but when you truly move on, when the energetic cord is finally cut, she will feel the disturbance in the force, and she will reach out. Hey, I miss you. Saw this and thought of you. Are you mad at me? This is not a reconciliation, this is not love, this is a pulse check. She is poking the corpse to see if it still twitches. She is checking to see if you are still on the hook. She wants to know if she still has access to your attention supply. Most men fold here. They see the text, their heart skips a beat, and they reply instantly. Hey, good to hear from you. Boom. You lost. Game over. You just confirmed that you were waiting. You just confirmed that your silence was a bluff. You just handed her all the power back on a silver platter. She will get her dopamine hit, feel secure that she still owns you, and then she will disappear again. Do not be the dog that returns to its vomit. The high-value response to the zombie text is simple. Option A, the void. Delete it. Ignore it. You're busy. You're ascending. You do not have time for low-effort breadcrumbs. This is the nuclear option. It drives them insane. It confirms that you are gone. Option B, the grey rock. If you must reply, give her nothing, no emotion, no questions, no energy, her, I miss you, I've been good, hope you're well, period, end of interaction. You're polite, but you are distant. You're a grey rock. You're boring. You offer no hooks for her to latch onto. You show her that the emotional door is closed. You're not angry. Anger implies you still care. You're indifferent. Indifference is the opposite of love. Indifference is the ultimate power move. When you can look at her name on your phone and feel absolutely nothing, no spike in heart rate, no anger, no hope, then you have won. You have reclaimed your sovereignty. You have taken back your soul. You have realized that she was never the prize. The prize was your self-respect. The prize was your time. The prize was your potential, and you are never ever giving it away for free again. The irony is cruel. The irony is beautiful. By the time she realizes her mistake, by the time she feels the weight of your absence, by the time she's ready to offer you the respect you always deserved, you won't want it anymore. This is the final stink of the transformation. You started this journey hoping to make her regret losing you. You wanted to punish her. You wanted to make her pay. That was your ego talking. That was the wounded boy inside you lashing out. But as you walked the path of silence, as you built your fortress, something changed. The boy died. The man were born. You realize that her regret is irrelevant. Her tears are just water. Her validation is just noise. You didn't cut her off to get her back. You cut her off to get yourself back. You reclaimed the pieces of your soul that you scattered at her feet. You gathered them up, you forged them in the fire of discipline, and you rebuilt yourself into something solid, something unbreakable, something sovereign. A sovereign man does not beg. He does not chase. He does not negotiate his value. He knows what he brings to the table, and he is not afraid to eat alone. He understands that a woman is not the destination. She is a companion. She is a complement to his life, not the center of it. If she cannot walk at his pace, if she cannot match his energy, if she cannot respect his mission, then she is left behind. Simple, ruthless, necessary. So let her regret it. Let her sit in the silence you created. Let her wonder what happened to the nice guy who used to reply instantly. That guy is dead. He was buried under the weight of his own desperation. What stands in his place is a man who puts his mind before his skin, a man who prioritizes his purpose over his pleasure, a man who values his dignity more than her desire. This is the only way to live. This is the only way to love, because you cannot truly love a woman until you no longer need her. As long as you need her validation, you are her slave. Only when you are willing to walk away, only when you are willing to cut the cord, are you free to choose her. And if you choose not to, if you choose to keep walking, then the silence becomes your symphony, the solitude becomes your sanctuary, and the regret she feels becomes nothing more than a footnote in the epic story of your life. Walk away, don't look back. The view ahead is infinite. Mind before sun skin. I want you to go into the dark for a moment. I want you to look at the last text you sent. Was it sent from a place of power or a place of fear? Ask yourself this one question and be honest. Are you building a legacy, or are you just waiting for a reply? Put the answer in the comments. I read them all.